What's up, Panther fans? This is Panthers 89. It's been a long off season. A lot has changed, but nothing has changed in a way. Um, I don't even know where to start. Going into week one here against the Browns. I mean, obviously the biggest change is Baker Mayfield is somehow our quarterback. We picked him up for not a whole lot, so it's kind of like a risk, but really not much of a downfall with only the chances of reward. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Baker. There's some things I like there. I like the aspect of, hey, I don't give a fuck type, and I'm here to win the game. But also, I think there's a lot of times he just comes off as a douchebag. So it's he's the kind of guy where if he's on my team, I can root for him and hope he does well, but you'll never see me in a Baker Mayfield jersey, if that makes sense. And if he plays on another team, you don't like the guy. But this is one thing, and this is honestly, I think Baker's number one selling point is he's not Sam Darnold. And if you're not Sam Darnold, I can give you a shot. I mean, I'll give you a chance as long as I ain't got to go see old Sammy boy out there throwing picks and seeing ghosts. I'm rather excited about that. Now, I mean, last year was an absolute joke, right? The way we handled Cam was an absolute joke. I'm kind of glad he's not back with the team for the simple fact of just, how he was treated and how his coaching staff handled him. Like, you're trying to run a two quarterback system. Like, bro, this is the NFL. What the fuck are you doing? Like, it's one thing where the Saints had Taysom Hill and they're, kind of into like, a special package for him. It's like, okay, I get that. But you're like out there going like, yeah, you take the first quarter, you'll take the second. It's like, what are you doing? And then also, you idiots picked up Sam Darnold's fifth-year option. So not only did you trade for a quarterback, you drafted a quarterback in Matt Corral, which I think could possibly be a good player. It sucks he's probably, out for the season. So that's rough. But like, what are you doing? So we traded for Baker, drafted Matt, and traded for Sam and picked up his expensive ass fifth-year option. Like, what are you doing? Are you just completely incompetent or are you just incompetent? I'm not sure. It's absolutely ridiculous what they've done in that sense. And this better be a make or break year for Matt Rule. Now, historically speaking, what is this going to be his third year? Every third year he's been at somewhere, he's improved drastically, whether that be shitty ass Temple or Baylor or wherever. He has made big jumps. So this better be it. Mr. Tepper, you got the big bankroll. Now, if he ain't getting it done and we're 2-6 to start the year, then it's time for him to go, period. Now, looking at Baker Mayfield, I don't know if he's that good or not. Last year he was hurt. It was his non-throwing shoulder, but still, if you got one shoulder messed up, it's going to affect your game, right? But you look at 2020, where he took the Browns to the playoffs, which is an amazing defeat in itself. I mean, pretty much nobody could say they've done that. I mean, you're talking about he had 26 touchdowns, 8 picks, throws for 3,500 yards. Last year he throws 17 touchdowns, 13 picks, 3,000 yards. Big drop-off. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I'm just excited that it's not Sam Darnold playing quarterback. I could not watch another season of that. That is just horrendous. He's honestly, I don't even think he's backup good. Like if we're being honest here, I'm not even sure he's backup quarterback worthy. That's how bad he is. So, I mean, going into week one here, go through our schedule as we do every year. We're starting off with Cleveland. Cleveland will be the Browns at the end of the day. They trade for a quarterback that is a accused, basically rapist. They know he's going to be suspended, and they still trade for him, trade away their starting quarterback, and proceed to give him a humongous contract. And then, of course, he is suspended for the first 11 games of the year. Honestly, you could say he should be suspended more with the type of suspensions guys have received in the past for a hell of a lot less. So, I mean, Josh Gordon, he's out the league every year for smoking weed, but this guy's got that and he gets 11 games. So makes a whole lot of sense. But all in all, Cleveland, you guys will be good once you get your quarterback. The problem is you're playing us week 1 and you don't have your quarterback. You got Jacoby Brissett, which I feel like has been he's a good backup. He's an okay backup quarterback to have. He's not going to do anything special, but he doesn't kill you in, the sense of a lot of turnovers and things of that nature. He'll just kind of be there, I think is a good way of putting it. So not really concerned about that. I mean, what it's going to really come down to is stopping Chubb. And I believe he is if he does it on Sunday, I think he'll be the only player to start his career with a 5-yard or more per carry average in the first game of the season every year. What that means, I don't know. But what I can tell you is it means we better stop the run. Look at last year, we didn't do a good job of that. This year, I don't know how much is going to change. We'll see. Defense, I think it's got to be our strong suit. I'm really excited to see what J.C. Horn does. His first 3 games looked phenomenal last year. So I would love to see what a healthy J.C. Horn can do, along with Dante Jackson. I think our secondary is actually going to be pretty good this year. Got Brian Burns coming off the edge, so we should be able to develop some rush. Got Shaq playing linebacker. So we got some guys there at every level that I think can be really good. So it will not surprise me if our defense is really good. So we just got to sell out, try to stop the run. Chubb is notorious for after contact. So definitely got to wrap up, bring him down. But being at home, they're not going to have Deshaun Watson. I think we win that game, right? We start the season out 1-0. And then we play the Giants. We got our ass kicked last year, right? Mainly, we had Sammy Boy, right? So, or was that PJ? Either way, they both suck. But we lost that game. Giants are going to suck again this year. That should be another win. I think we can start out 2-0. Then we come back home against the Saints. The Saints are they struggled this offseason. They were in cap hell. They got Jameis Winston, which I don't think is anything special. I've been killed by Saint fans before. I think he's the dumbest quarterback in the league, and I will stand by that. But you know what? Maybe Sam Darnold's actually dumber. I take that back. Move up Jameis to number 31. Sam's the dumbest quarterback in the league. But playing him out, we get him at home. Usually we're going to split with division rivals. That's how I look at it going into the year. I think that's a game we get. I think we got a great chance to start 3-0. Then we get the Cardinals coming to Charlotte. I think that's another win for the simple fact of, historically speaking, we own the Cardinals. We own a percentage of them, and I think that's a win. And then you got the 49ers coming to town, so I think, honestly, we have a great chance of being 4-0 to start the season. 49ers are a wild card right now, right? They are going to be starting Trey Lance, but they have Jimmy G in the background kind of lurking. Glad we did not trade for him. I am glad. I would take Baker Mayfield over Jimmy G, that's for sure. I don't know what to make of the Niners. They have a really good team, but Trey Lance, if he sucks, and the quarterback's most important position on the field. So I don't really know what to make of San Fran, but they got to come all the way across the country, about as far as you can go. So, I mean, I hate to sound like a homer, but I think we could start out 5-0 right there. And then we got to go to Los Angeles, play the Rams. Realistically, again, you're going across the other way now, across the country. I think we probably lose that game, right? So I can see us being 5-1 at that point. And then we get Tampa Bay at home. I don't know what to make of Tampa Bay. They got a new coaching staff. Tom Brady retires for 2 minutes, comes back. I don't know if they're in shambles or not, but honestly, I don't really ever expect to beat Tom Brady. He's that good. So I'd say we honestly probably lose that one. We're 5-2. We'll move on to the division rivals, going to Atlanta. I don't know. Marcus Mariota he's made highlights. Like, he's had some moments where he looks really good, but most of the time he looks like he is scared to pull the trigger. Atlanta, I don't know what to make of them. They're kind of an interesting team. They have some offensive weapons, but Calvin Ridley suspended for gambling, betting on games, so that's a big weapon for them. Gone. I don't know. Honestly, I just want to say we split with them, right? So say we lose that game in Atlanta, that puts us 5-3. We go to play Cincinnati. Cincinnati, I think, is going to be a pretty good team this year. I mean, they obviously made the Super Bowl, kind of a lucky run, fluky comeback against the Chiefs, but I mean, you got to give it to them. They made the comeback. They got to the Super Bowl. You can't knock them with that. Going to Cincinnati, I honestly I can see us losing that game as well. I can see us going down to 5-4. Like I think it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster season. We come home, we play Atlanta, should be a win, right? Go 6-4. Okay, feeling pretty good. But then you got to go to Baltimore. Baltimore is going to be a pretty good team, I think, especially with Lamar if he stays healthy. I don't really think that's a game we can necessarily expect to win, so I could see us going 6-5 at that point. Then we're at home against the Broncos. That's an automatic win because fuck the Broncos. I don't care under any circumstance. Gets us 7 wins, I think, right there. Then we get to go to Seattle, which may be the worst team in the league this year. They are absolutely terrible. Gets us 8 wins. Play the Steelers at home. They're, what, are you starting Mitch? Come on now. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, I think that gets us 9 wins. You play the Lions at home, that's 10 wins. Say you go down to Tampa Bay, lose, right? And then you play the Saints in New Orleans, say you lose that. I could see us being a 10-win season. 10-7 could get you into the playoffs. It may or may not. We'll see on that. But I think 10 wins is honestly very possible with this team with Baker running it. Baker's, obviously the best quarterback we've had since Cam. It's going to be an interesting season. I'm partially excited for it and partially almost kind of, I don't want to say dreading it, but I feel like it could be a long season. I gave you the breakdown of the schedule, which I think is an optimistic look at it, but I think it's somewhat realistic as well. But overall, I think we have a pretty good team, but it's going to depend on a few things, right? Baker and DJ, they seem to have a good chemistry there, so that will be good. Robbie, we'll see if he shows up this year. Clearly, he got his contract last year and didn't put the work in, right? You can come up with whatever excuses you want, but at the end of the day, he was terrible. I think he had, 400 yards of receiving? I mean, let's see here. He had barely anything last year. He was terrible. Now, I totally get, you had Sam Darnold throwing him the ball most of the year, right? Which, that's quite the hindrance in itself. But DJ Moore still had 1,100 yards. Robbie had 519 yards, catching 53 balls. That's terrible. And it doesn't look good when you just got paid in the offseason. It does not look good. But overall, I think we should be optimistic, Panther fans. And hey, if it's terrible, at least we'll get fire Matt Rule and blow it up and restart again. So I guess that's an optimistic look at if it goes bad. But I think that's about all for this video. So thanks for watching, and go Panthers.